Let's face it, disrespect isn't just frustrating, it can wear you down. Whether it's at work, in your relationships, or even with strangers, it's easy to feel stuck, unsure of how to respond without creating more conflict. But what if there's a way to handle disrespect with confidence and grace? That's where Stoicism comes in. This ancient philosophy isn't about ignoring problems or letting people walk all over you. It's about staying grounded, controlling your emotions, and setting boundaries that protect your peace of mind. Imagine being so calm and self-assured that no one's negativity can shake you. That's the power of Stoicism. In this video, we'll explore how to stop tolerating disrespect, practically and effectively, using Stoic principles. From understanding what you can and can't control to mastering the art of inner detachment, these timeless ideas can transform how you handle tough situations. So if you're ready to take back your power and live with dignity, you're in the right place. And hey, before we dive in, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us in making philosophy easy and life-changing for everyone. Step 1. Understand what you can and can't control. The first and most important step to stop tolerating disrespect is mastering the dichotomy of control, a foundational Stoic principle that teaches us to differentiate between what's within our power and what isn't. Once you truly grasp this idea, you'll find that much of the stress and frustration in life starts to fade. So let's break it down. What's outside of your control? Other people, their opinions, their actions, their words, and even their attitudes toward you. Trying to control these things is like trying to stop the rain by shouting at the sky. It's exhausting and completely futile. Now, what is within your control? Your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and most importantly, the meaning you assign to situations. Imagine someone interrupts you or makes a rude comment. In that moment, you have a choice. You could react emotionally, getting angry or defensive, or you could pause and remind yourself, their words don't define me. I can't control what they say, but I can control how much power I give them. Let me give you a scenario to make this clear. Think about the last time someone disrespected you. Maybe it was a colleague, a friend, or even a stranger. Did their behavior ruin your mood? Did it stay with you for hours or even days? Now imagine if, instead of reacting emotionally, you simply observed their behavior, shrugged it off, and moved on. How much lighter would you feel? Why does this matter? Because when you focus on things outside of your control, you're giving others power over your peace. They're dictating how you feel and act. Stoicism teaches us to take back that power by focusing entirely on what we can control, ourselves. This doesn't mean you tolerate bad behavior. It means you respond to it intentionally, not emotionally. Practical steps to apply this. Pause before reacting. The next time someone disrespects you, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, am I about to waste energy on something I can't change? This question alone can help you reframe the situation. Choose your response. Remember, a response is not the same as a reaction. A reaction is automatic, emotional, and often regrettable. A response is thoughtful and intentional. You don't always have to engage with disrespect. Sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. Detach yourself emotionally. This doesn't mean ignoring your feelings, but recognizing that someone else's behavior says more about them than it does about you. You're not responsible for their actions, and you don't have to carry their negativity. Use a mantra. A great Stoic mantra is, I cannot control others, but I can control myself. Repeat this to yourself whenever you feel your emotions rising. It's a simple yet effective way to ground yourself. A quick story to inspire you. Think of Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and a Roman emperor. Despite having immense power, he faced criticism, betrayal, and even disrespect from those around him. Yet he wrote in his meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By understanding what's within his control, Marcus maintained his composure and dignity in the face of challenges. You can do the same. Key takeaway. When you focus on what you can control, your thoughts, your reactions, you'll find that disrespect loses its power over you. You become unshakable, and your peace becomes untouchable, ready to take the next step in mastering respect through Stoicism. Let's move on to Step 2. Step 2. Set clear boundaries without guilt. Once you've mastered the idea of controlling your response, the next step is learning to set boundaries. Once you've mastered the idea of controlling your response, the next step is learning to set boundaries. Many people tolerate disrespect simply because they're afraid to speak up. But here's the truth. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow, what you stop, and what you reinforce. Think about it. If someone disrespects you and you stay silent, they assume their behavior is acceptable. But when you set boundaries, you communicate that you value yourself enough to demand respect. And here's the best part. You can do this calmly and confidently without anger or guilt. What does setting boundaries look like? Setting boundaries isn't about being aggressive or cutting people off at the slightest inconvenience. It's about being firm, clear, and respectful. For example, if someone interrupts you constantly, you can say, "I value our conversation, but I'd appreciate it if we let each other finish speaking before responding." If a friend jokes at your expense and it bothers you, you might say, "I know you didn't mean any harm, but I'd prefer if we kept the jokes a bit more positive." Notice how these statements are direct, yet non-confrontational. You're not attacking the other person, you're simply stating your needs. Why we feel guilty about boundaries. Many of us avoid setting boundaries because we worry about how others will react. We fear being seen as rude, difficult, or selfish. But here's the truth. Respecting yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. When you tolerate disrespect, you're not just hurting yourself, you're also enabling the other person's bad behavior. How Stoicism helps you overcome this guilt. Stoicism reminds us to focus on what truly matters, our values and inner peace. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." If respecting yourself and setting boundaries aligns with your values, then guilt has no place in your decision. You're not responsible for how others react to your boundaries. You're responsible for protecting your dignity. Practical steps to set boundaries. Be clear and direct. Avoid vague or passive statements like, "I wish you wouldn't do that." Instead say, "I need you to stop speaking to me in that tone." Stay calm and confident. Your tone matters. Speak firmly but respectfully, and avoid letting anger creep into your voice. Follow through. A boundary is meaningless without action. If someone crosses your line, enforce it. For instance, if they continue to disrespect you, you might distance yourself from them or limit your interactions. Remember your worth. Repeat to yourself, "I deserve respect, and it's okay to ask for it." This affirmation can help you stand strong, even in challenging situations. A quick story to illustrate. Imagine you're at a family dinner and a relative makes an offhanded, disrespectful comment about your choices. Instead of staying silent or laughing it off uncomfortably, you calmly say, "I'd prefer if we kept the conversation respectful. Let's focus on enjoying our time together." This response is polite, yet firm. It communicates your boundary without escalating the situation. Key takeaway: setting boundaries is not about pushing people away. It's about showing them how to treat you. When you set clear, confident boundaries, you're not only protecting yourself, but you're also creating healthier relationships. With boundaries in place, you'll start to see a noticeable shift in how others treat you, and how you feel about yourself. Ready to take another step toward reclaiming your respect and dignity? Let's move on to step 3. Step 3. Master the art of silence. Sometimes the most powerful response to disrespect is no response at all. Silence, when used intentionally, can speak louder than words. In Stoicism, silence isn't about avoiding confrontation or being passive. It's about choosing your battles wisely and protecting your inner peace. Why silence is so powerful? When someone disrespects you, they often expect a reaction. It's human nature. They're looking to provoke you, prove a point, or assert dominance. But when you respond with calm silence, you deny them the satisfaction of controlling your emotions. This throws them off balance and sends a clear message. Your words have no power over me. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you cannot control." Choosing silence is an example of owning that option. It's a sign of strength, not weakness. How to use silence effectively. Pause before responding. If someone says something disrespectful, take a moment to breathe and process. You don't have to react immediately. Silence in this moment signals that you're in control, not them. Respond with your actions, not your words. If a colleague disrespects you in a meeting, don't argue or try to match their tone. Instead, let your work and professionalism speak for itself. Over time, your actions will overshadow their negativity. Use silence to redirect power. Imagine someone insults you publicly. Instead of defending yourself, smile calmly or remain neutral. Your silence shows that their words don't affect you, which can be far more disarming than any comeback. When silence isn't enough. Of course, there are situations where silence alone won't solve the problem, especially if the disrespect is repetitive or harmful. In such cases, silence can be your first response, but it should be followed by setting boundaries, as we discussed in step 2, or taking further action if necessary. Practical tip to practice silence. Try this. The next time someone says something offensive or condescending, count to 5 in your head before you say anything. During those 5 seconds, remind yourself, their behavior is a reflection of them, not me. I choose how I respond. Often you'll find that the urge to react emotionally fades during this pause, leaving you feeling more composed and in control. A real-life example. Think about public figures like athletes or leaders who face criticism daily. Some of the most admired people are those who stay calm under pressure and refuse to engage with negativity. Instead of clapping back at their critics, they let their work, discipline, and silence speak for them. This is the essence of Stoic composure. Key takeaway: silence isn't about avoiding conflict, it's about reclaiming your power. When you choose silence over unnecessary confrontation, you protect your peace, maintain your dignity, and show others that their words have no hold over you. Ready to dive deeper? Let's move on to step 4, where we'll explore the importance of self-respect in demanding respect from others. Step 4. Cultivate self-respect to command respect from others. The way you treat yourself sets the tone for how others will treat you. If you want to stop tolerating disrespect, you must first cultivate a deep sense of self-respect. Without it, even the strongest boundaries or silent responses will crumble over time. Respect begins within. Why self-respect matters. People subconsciously take cues from your behavior. If you carry yourself with confidence, prioritize your well-being, and refuse to accept less than you deserve, others will naturally follow suit. On the other hand, if you constantly put yourself down or tolerate poor treatment, people may see that as permission to do the same. Marcus Aurelius emphasized this in his meditations. Look well into yourself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you will always look. This means that by valuing and respecting yourself, you build an unshakable foundation of strength that others can't undermine. How to cultivate self-respect. Define your non-negotiables. Take some time to reflect on what respect means to you. What behaviors are you willing to accept? And what are absolute deal breakers? For example, you might decide that passive-aggressive comments or being interrupted during conversations are behaviors you won't tolerate. Once you know your boundaries, you'll be better equipped to enforce them. Prioritize self-care. Taking care of your physical, mental, and emotional health is a form of self-respect. When you prioritize rest, eat well, exercise, and make time for activities that nourish your soul, you send a message to yourself and others: I am worth taking care of. Speak kindly to yourself. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. If you catch yourself thinking, I'm not good enough, or I probably deserved that disrespect, stop and reframe the thought. Replace it with affirmations like, I am worthy of respect. I am strong enough to stand up for myself. Set standards for relationships. Whether it's friendships, romantic partnerships, or professional connections, surround yourself with people who uplift and respect you. Distance yourself from those who constantly bring negativity or undermine your worth. How self-respect transforms interactions. When you truly respect yourself, you radiate confidence and strength. For example, you're less likely to tolerate disrespectful jokes because you know your worth. You'll stop over-explaining yourself to people who don't deserve your time. You'll attract individuals who see and appreciate your value because you've set the standard. A quick story to inspire you. Imagine a stoic figure walking into a room, calm, composed, and confident. They don't demand respect with loud words or flashy gestures. Instead, their very presence commands it. Why? Because they respect themselves first. This is the energy you can cultivate through self-respect. Key takeaway: self-respect isn't just about how you feel inside, it's about how you carry yourself in the world. When you respect yourself, you teach others to treat you with the same level of dignity. It's a ripple effect that begins within and extends to every interaction you have. Now that you've built this solid foundation, let's move on to the final step: how to practice forgiveness and release the power disrespect has over you. Step 5. Forgive, but don't forget the lesson. The final step is one of the hardest yet most liberating: learning to forgive. Holding on to anger or resentment over disrespect can weigh you down, but forgiveness isn't about letting the other person off the hook. It's about freeing yourself from the burden of negativity and moving forward with strength and clarity. Why forgiveness is powerful. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." When you forgive, you rise above the disrespect. You show that you refuse to let someone else's actions define your emotional state. Forgiveness is not weakness, it's reclaiming your power. How to forgive without losing your strength. Understand the why. Ask yourself, why did this person disrespect me? Often people act out of their own insecurities or ignorance. Recognizing this doesn't excuse their behavior, but helps you see that their actions are a reflection of them, not you. Separate forgiveness from trust. Forgiving doesn't mean you have to trust that person again or even keep them in your life. You can forgive while maintaining your boundaries. Learn the lesson. Every instance of disrespect carries a lesson. Maybe it's about asserting yourself earlier, choosing better company, or valuing your time more. Take the lesson and let go of the pain. Forgiveness in action. Imagine a situation where someone spread a false rumor about you. Instead of stewing in anger or seeking revenge, you focus on the facts. You address the situation calmly if needed. You forgive the person internally, knowing their actions stem from their own flaws. You move forward, wiser and more resilient. Key takeaway: forgiving doesn't mean forgetting, it means learning. Each experience strengthens your ability to handle disrespect with grace, composure, and wisdom. When you forgive, you lighten your emotional load and make room for positivity and growth. Now that you've learned these 5 steps, you're ready to stop tolerating disrespect and start living with the confidence and dignity you deserve. Remember, respect begins with how you treat yourself and extends to how you allow others to treat you. If you found this guide helpful, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more Stoic wisdom made easy. Let's grow stronger together, one step at a time.